Welcome to Mayflower, Arkansas, a city with a population of 2,300, a city that was incorporated in Arkansas around 1855, close to 1860, right before the Civil War. Today I'm here to give you a story of a town or city or community named Lollie Bottom, B-O-T-T-O-M. A city that has a significant history here that dates all the way back to this guy named John Elijah Little and Lollie Toondale, a community or plantation that he established in 1877. Basically, the African Americans were freed and the Reconstruction had started to develop black settlements across the country. Ulysses Grant's predecessor, by the name of Rutherford, President Rutherford, he decided to be a sympathizer to the Klans and put an end or defund the whole Reconstruction program, which led to freed African Americans having to go into what they called then sharecropping or tenant farming, meaning going back to the plantation in which they were slaves on and working for their previous slave master to be a sharecropper. John Elijah Little established a plantation post-slavery, meaning it wasn't a actual plantation where slaves were at. It was a place that he called plantation where sharecroppers actually worked his farm. He paid them little wages, barely to make ends meet, but he came up with a unique plan as well. And we're going to discuss his plan going forward as we travel to the actual location where the actual plantation was at, which became a all-black community until the construction of the Conway Airport. So in 1887, a gentleman by the name of John Elijah Little migrated from parts of Virginia all the way up to, in Mississippi, all the way to Arkansas, which he landed in Mayflower and established a plantation. On one side of the street, he bought land, maybe 1,000 acres of land, and on the other side, his wife, who was from this particular area, family owned over 2,000 acres. Fast forward maybe 5 years after his wife gave birth to their first daughter, she died, and he inherited all the land. Well, this was a unique time in American history where Grover Cleveland was the president, and he was not a sympathizer to the Klansmen or the Confederacy, or he wasn't a sympathizer or an advocate for the advancement of colored people, what they called then, but black people in America. With that said, he did not create initiatives to help black people or freed black people or African American or indigenous people establish settlements across the country the same way President Ulysses Grant did. So they had to find what was called then some type of sharecropping or tenant farming job. So freed black men and women and families migrated to the actual Lollie plantation. John Elijah Little paid the sharecroppers very, very, very poor wages. In fact, he also worked with the state and federal government to establish a penal system out here, right? In which the freed blacks who would commit crimes because they had no way to provide for themselves would actually go to prison. And if they went to prison, he could actually lease the prisoners on his land for 50 cents a day, which he took advantage of. He has a larger percent of people who came from the penal system than he did sharecroppers or tenant farmers. So he took advantage of it. This was a plan of his that he leveraged all the way up to 1920 something when he passed away. So the black people in Lollie Bottom established a school through the help of Booker T. Washington and a Jewish gentleman named Julius Rosenwald. So in addition to the schools, there was a business district. Lollie Bottom black community had all the necessities of a thriving community similar to Tollett, Arkansas, Mound Bayou, Mississippi, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street. So in 2007, with the help of the federal government, local politicians, governors, and senators in Little Rock, Arkansas, as well as Conway, Arkansas. They began to start the construction of the city of Conway Regional Airport. So all of this land here behind me is the land that I just showed you. Let me turn it a little bit here. And I want you to see across the street. All of this was Lollie Bottom African American community. Because they wanted to establish this particular airport and landing strip, they decided to annex through eminent domain Lollie Bottom African American community and displace thousands of people. So during the heyday of the Lollie Bottom community, a partnership was struck between Booker T. Washington, who was over the Tuskegee Institute, and Julius Rosenwald to create a school structure and a school system in rural communities where most black people, freed black people in the South, can have access to education. This school is on the endangered list, given that it needs funding to help stabilize the actual structure. This school is actually 7 miles from the Lollie Bottom community. So a lot of the kids who live there and who grew up in that community actually went to this particular school. So the person who shared this scavenger hunting adventure with me name is Langtree Stubbs. He's one of my TikTok followers. Thank you for this. I had a great time here learning about the history, just studying the history, and actually coming here to actually film. Again, my name is Dr. Mario Wallace with the Black History Scavenger Hunting. Peace.